Ladies and gentlemen, SideStrafe back with War Thunder Ground Forces, and today I've got another event mode battle for ya, and it's actually in realistic battle mode, which I didn't mean to jump into. It was one of those things where RB was above SB and I clicked on it by mistake, queued up, and ended up in this, to my surprise. But it ended up being an interesting match, so I thought I would share it anyway. Beyond that, since this is a test event mode, it doesn't feature enemy name tags or map markers, so it's another reason I didn't really mind playing it. The only downside is, of course, the third-person camera, which could allow you to look around buildings and corners. But considering the fact that most people are turning down their graphics, I suppose that's the least of our concerns. So before we begin to take a look at today's match, I wanted to talk a little bit about my previous War Thunder video, War Thunder Ground Forces Uncovered, where we do take a look at the ultra-low graphic settings and how they affect gameplay. Now, for the most part, the video was a great success. A lot of positive feedback. Definitely appreciate those of you that understood what I was trying to do and that posted proper, mature, educated feedback in the comment section. Also appreciate those of you that have been sharing the video, whether it's on Twitter, Reddit, or the War Thunder forums. I'm sure Gaijin is sick of all of us, especially me at this point. I think in their next map, they're probably going to have most wanted posters hanging up on walls, but they'll of course have to be on walls because the trees aren't exactly there, so you can't put a poster on something that doesn't exist. But all kidding aside, I have no regrets about making that video. It needed to be done. The truth is out there, as they used to say in the X-Files. Certain individuals thought that the video was too little too late, as the problem has existed within gaming for years. However, I would say unto you that many diseases have existed for years as well. Should we stop trying to cure them? No, I don't think so. And we're not just going to have the problem magically disappear. And the more we ignore it, the less developers will care to resolve it. And the sad thing is the problem has been resolved by competent developers using less powerful game engines. There are ways to implement low-quality foliage, perhaps in 2D sprite form, but this is something that would take more work, assets that have to be created. And when you're making a free-to-play, your priorities tend to be on how to make the most money, and fixes don't usually provide you with money. In this case, Gaijin is focusing more so on creating more vehicles. Vehicles equal money. Premium time purchased, experience conversions, crew training, premium vehicles, tanks and planes, and so on and so forth. And while those vehicles are typically broken most of the time and remain so for many months, it makes them money, and they have the data to show this. Fixing the game, adding trees at the low end will not actually bring them more money in a timely manner. Now, you might disagree with that and think, well, improving your game means more people come back and want to play the title. I agree with that, but they don't see it that way. For them, it's more so about selling vehicles and premium time, as it is with most free-to-play titles, unfortunately. Beyond that, certain community managers within Gaijin have stated that the problem is not able to be resolved, that it's not possible. This is, of course, a flat-out lie and a method used to defend against the people stating otherwise. In fact, Gaijin has already contradicted themselves, because other developers within their team have stated that it is possible, and it's something that they would like to look at, but it's just not on their list of priorities. So again, pure and simple contradiction. Gaijin has some people that I think that are just trying to defend their name, while others are perhaps trying to make a better game. I do believe that there are good developers at Gaijin. I just don't know how many. And sadly, I think the ones that know what they're doing are probably being shut down. I'm sure that there are plenty of artists and programmers sitting there in their cubicles wishing that they could do certain things, but have their hands tied by the corporate side of Gaijin, who just wants to make a quick buck. I believe they have brought up an idea in regards to adding more haze at the low end so as to make up for the lack of trees and foliage in the meantime, But I don't know how much of a solution that is. As you can see here, haze is already a problem, so I can't imagine adding even more of it. It just seems to be something implemented in order to prevent people from engaging targets at extremely long ranges, which is sad because part of having a gun is engaging a target at range and not having to deal with threats at close quarters. For those of you wondering what I'm doing with my 30 cal here, I was actually just trying to see if the target that I think that I see is still alive. On top of that, I'm also using it as a way to point out a target to friendlies that might be a little closer that can perhaps identify it. Anyways, the final thing I want to discuss in regards to my last video is the fact that many individuals thought that I was attacking them for having low-end systems. This is not the case, and if you don't understand the following, then I can no longer help you as I am not in charge of handing out intelligence. So with that said, the video was about providing better game settings for everyone. Low-end, average, high-end, everyone. The settings we have now are not good. They need to improve for everyone at the low, the medium, the high. A lot of the game's performance issues can simply be resolved by removing certain things. I've been fighting to have bots removed from this game for so very long. Do you understand how much of a performance hit this game is probably taking because of the fact that there's artificial intelligence running around certain maps? Not this one, but a lot of the arcade maps feature bots. You know how many extra polygons that is, guys? How many extra particle effects? How much more ballistic math the server has to calculate in order to run that AI? Do you guys understand the performance problem that's coming from that? And you guys are blaming trees and grass? Come on. What about the fact that they keep adding things like machine gun fire? Do we absolutely 100% need machine gun fire on tanks? Is it kind of cool? Yes. Does it help scare away enemy planes? Yes. Does it help fight off lighter vehicles? Sure. But do we need it if it's adding to the severity of already existing performance problems? I would sacrifice it if you told me that it was a big performance issue. Maybe it's not. I don't have that data. But I can tell you that having spoken to other developers for other titles, every projectile that exits your vehicle or weapon is a server calculation and does account for a bit of the game's performance. What about the destructible terrain? Being able to run over trees and light posts and clocks and walls and things like that. Yeah, it looks cool, but guess what? It is a performance issue, and I do have it on extremely good authority that is a big part of Gaijin's performance issues within this game engine. Perhaps limit some of the objects that are destructible, like this street lamp and this clock and certain dividers and statues. What if we limited a small percentage of those things? Would that help with performance problems? Maybe. Let's do it. I would sacrifice certain things. Yeah, I think we need to be able to destroy trees and walls and things like that. That just makes sense. It's part of being a tanker, right? And, well, I don't see us getting rid of that anytime soon. But I think there are things that we can resolve that would help and allow us to add low-quality foliage for people that apparently can't run this game properly. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that discussion went on a little longer than I had originally hoped, but I think it's something that's important. Obviously, we need to continue to discuss it and come up with solutions to improve the performance in this game without sacrificing the actual gameplay. And I want people to understand that that's what it's all about. It's not about distancing this game from people that have low-end systems. Not at all. Why would you think that I don't want other people to play this game? The more people that play a game, the more things I have to shoot at, and things that can shoot at me. But I don't want you to be excluded from the game. I just want the game to be fair. I just want there to be a challenge for everyone, regardless of system specifications. At the end of the day, all I can say to viewers and developers alike is that my intentions are good. I may come off as a ranter, and I do get loud. I'm a very passionate individual. I love video games. This is obviously my living, and I just want these games to be good. I want them to improve, and they don't improve without fearless feedback. And you can't be afraid to tell it like it is. That might upset some people. Some people are sensitive. They can't handle the truth. But, well, those people shouldn't be watching my channel. And beyond that, ladies and gentlemen, as you can see here, I had a pretty good game. We're taking some tanks out. This game can be fun. I do enjoy playing it from time to time. It's just that there are situations where we have some really rubbish issues and they need to be resolved. Now, quite frankly, I have better games in urban environments because there's hard cover that cannot be removed. The biggest issues I have generally are in maps that are filled with foliage, where we're hiding in trees where people can see and get an unfair advantage. Here, though, I tend to excel in these urban maps because I simply have hard cover, and the game is even across the board. Anyway, with that, you can see that we're trying to finish off this KV, and we've got a lot of these pesky little locusts running around. One of which actually tried to shoot at me earlier, but we've decided to use our mobility to get around the KV and shoot it in the back. I've already put several rounds into its turret, but I figure, hey, here's a few more. Finally taking him out, all the while worried about things that might be surrounding me. Some rapid fire inbound there while we recap this point. And I'm just thinking, let me get behind some hard cover here. You can't be removed by visual settings, at least I hope not. In other news, apparently Gaijin doesn't believe that the new Absolute Simulator battle mode is popular enough to warrant replacing their normal simulator battle, which I find to be absolutely ridiculous considering the overwhelmingly positive feedback we'd seen within the forums, on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, you name it. So much positive feedback, but apparently their data suggests that it's just not being played enough. And I would say that if it's not being played, it's simply because most people don't know that it exists. Because you have to account for the people that never visit websites, that never visit forums, that don't watch YouTube or Twitch, that just simply launch a game and hit the matchmaking system because that's the only way they know, and that's what they've been doing for years, and that's what they continue to do, and they never touch the events. And that's not even counting the people on console who might not have access to those events or who simply ignore them. So I think there are other issues here in regards to people not playing those modes. I think it just comes down to them not knowing about them. But I don't know what kind of data Gaijin needs to see that it's worth replacing those modes. I mean, even this, which is just regular RB, but without the map icons and name tags. You can see how much better it is without those things, how much more challenging it is, and how much more effective I can be as a tanker who utilizes proper cover and movement. Of course, let's face it, it is Gaijin, and they're not going to necessarily look at player feedback. They're going to look at the data, and will continue to do so until somebody else takes over at that company that actually knows what they're doing. But beyond that, you can see here we're just creeping through the town and hoping to eliminate some more of the targets from the flanks. I wanted to get away from the front of that Panzer because that thing is lethal, especially against my lightly armored Sherman. And so my trick here was to just get at its side and hope that it's distracted enough that I can shoot at the weak points. Here just looking around for more targets, scanning, always scanning, constantly scanning, and even more so now that we know that people are turning down their visuals. Some more shots out trying to find the target there, but that half track just going crazy across the field. Now we're having to deal with them from the front again, and we know that that's just not going to be effective. We can switch ammo types, but we do have this because of the objectives and capture points. Those tank destroyers, they really don't want to come into the town. They know that they can end up getting just absolutely hammered by vehicles that have more mobility and an actual turret. But pretty good matchup here. Getting some badges. Badges? We don't need no stinking badges. But 5 kills, not bad, no deaths. That's the way I like it. And so, yeah, again, guys, I do enjoy playing this game. You have a match like that, and you can't help but walk away with a smile. It is fun to play, but I don't like knowing that people are basically cheating. You know, I don't like those unfair advantages provided by in-game settings. To me, they are legal hacks, and they shouldn't exist in any game. Some people will continue to mistake my criticisms for complaints, and to those I would suggest picking up a dictionary and learning to understand the differences. Beyond that, other individuals are simply looking for constant positive reinforcement in the games that they enjoy, And that's simply not me, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of YouTubers and streamers are simply fake. They are looking for a quick buck. They want developer support, and to get that support, they will do whatever it takes to get on their good side. That is not me. It never will be, and no amount of money will ever change that. So ladies and gentlemen, as always, thank you so much for joining me. I'm always appreciative of your support, and I will definitely see you on the next one.